All right, everyone. We shall start after much delay. Please take your seat. Welcome in this presentation about in-camera visual effects and real-time workflow using Unreal Engine for film, episodic, broadcast, and streaming content with a little bit of metaverse thrown into it. So we're going to cover a wide map. My name is David Morin. I do industry relations at Epic Games, and I'm also executive director of the Academy Software Foundation. We'll talk about these things as we go. So our agenda, Epic Games is maybe well known, maybe not. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about Fortnite, the metaverse, Unreal Engine, film TV, in-camera visual effects, and then Unreal Engine 5 that just came out. So Epic Games, it's a company that was created 30 years ago now, in 15 countries, 52 offices, 2,600 people, in a private, and still led by Tim Sweeney, who's the CEO of the company and founder. So he was there 30 years ago, and he's still there now. He's the guiding light. The company is very much the result of his vision. He started the company as a game company, but it enlarged from there to cover all things interactive. The mission of the company goes into this: to empower everyone to create and share compelling real-time 3D content and experience. And by everyone, it means not just gamers, but really people in every market, such as film and TV. It's for creators. Epic Games does its own games, so it's a production company in many ways, and there are many creators within Epic Games. It's important that the world and everything we work with is open and connected. The source code of Unreal Engine is open for everyone to see, for instance. There's a big investment in working with the people who adopt Epic Games technology to work with them so that they succeed the same way that we succeed at Epic Games and at a high level of quality. And that mission is true in every division of the company. Since a few years, a number of products have joined the Epic Games family around Unreal Engine, such as Twinmotion in the architecture industry, Quixel for scanning and a library of assets, ArtStation, where artists go and represent their work, Reality Capture, a software that's specialized in capturing the world, and Sketchfab, which is an open library for assets that are used in the manufacturing industries, interactive assets. We also have the MetaHuman interface that allows to create digital humans at a level of quality and simplicity in creation that is new and unequaled. Not so long ago, we were talking about the uncanny valley. It's still there in some cases, but by providing tools that are automating a lot of what makes humans, we are opening this ability to a much wider range of creators for video game, film, and TV. And this image here represents a MetaHuman with the rig that is pre-built on each and every one of them for animation. So what do we do at Epic Games? Unreal Engine is at the core of everything that is done. It is the engine that is used to make Fortnite, and it is also the engine, Fortnite on the publishing side there on the left, and on the right is the engine that is licensed to companies both in games and in non-games, all of the other markets, and that is used to do all sorts of different production we'll talk about. First, though, let's go on to Fortnite and look at what it does, what the role that it plays. So Fortnite, so far in the highest peak, has had 15.3 million concurrent users in the game at the same time, out of 500 million Fortnite accounts. So it is a game that works at scale on the cloud, that is available worldwide in all platforms, and it's updated frequently from under the game itself. It never shuts down, except once it shut down at the end of one particular season, more of a marketing moment than because it needed to. It's cross-platform, and we'll see that a little bit later. And we also started holding non-game events within the game. And that gets us toward the idea of the metaverse. We think that Fortnite is a prototype of what could happen in the metaverse at scale. So Fortnite is currently in Chapter 3, Season 2, that is ongoing at the moment. It's called Resistance, this current chapter. So it works like a TV show. If you've not played Fortnite, you have chapters, you have seasons that are coming in, and the content changes and the challenges change in the game. With this last season, we did something special. We did, for the month of March, we essentially decided, along with all the partners working with us on the game and the Xbox, Microsoft, to give all the profit of the game to different non-governmental organization and non-profit working with Ukraine, to help the people of Ukraine. And we just announced a few days ago that this whole effort, and people who played the game knew at the time that all the proceeds would go to Ukraine. So we gave $144 million to Ukraine a few days ago to help them in what they can do. So Fortnite, in a nutshell, is this prototype toward the metaverse. And the metaverse is discussed a lot, and really no one knows exactly what it's going to be. We think we have a prototype of it, and we have an opinion that comes a lot from Tim Sweeney, who's been talking about the metaverse going way back in 1994. And so that's our view. The metaverse should be a real-time 3D social medium for engaging and sharing experience, not unlike the internet we know, but a 3D social medium. It should be open, and it's very important to us that it be open, that it not be divided into walled garden park company having areas that are closed to only the members. It will include a strong social platform that we're trying to build out of pieces that we've done for Fortnite. We're making the player management available, for instance, all the tools that work at that scale of millions of people. We're making those tools available so that other companies can build games with it, or also take it potentially for other non-gaming purpose. The structure will evolve, the structure of the metaverse, over time. It's not a new design, meaning it's not like a new thing that will be over here and that will show up one day. It's something that we will create together, and that will evolve from the technologies and the applications that we use now. It has to be open, very important. Open for creators to participate. So the content that will be in the metaverse, if it's this vast world that provides 3D social medium, it has to be created. And this is why film, TV, broadcast, and this industry here is so important for Epic Games, for the metaverse, because it is those companies here that are creating all of that content that needs to learn how to make it available for this new world of the metaverse interactive. And the monetization will come through content, if we have it our way, not ads, meaning you will buy things that you want to buy. In Fortnite, every season, every chapter, there's a different set of avatars that are available. You can be Spider-Man, you can be Doctor Strange, you can be different people for the time you play your game, and you pay for those. You can also play with the generic avatars that you can play, it's all free. But if you want to enhance your persona, you can do it, and you buy things that you want to buy. That's the model. So that's Fortnite, built on Unreal Engine. Now, Unreal Engine also, in the other side, is used for people to do other games. So there's a long list of those, and non-games, which is what we're talking about. So there's 11 million licensees of the Unreal Engine itself, and it's becoming more adopted every day in all of those verticals, architecture, automotive, and film and TV, of course, which is what we're going to talk about now. But all these other industries, it's important to say that they are coming to the same sort of realization that we're coming to in this industry with regards to in-camera visual effects, discovering new workflows that are enabled by real-time and that you can use in your production. Unreal Engine can be used to do all sorts of content, and it runs on those platforms, mobile, console, PC, AR, VR, MR. So you develop something in Unreal, potentially you can port easily to all these other platforms. Here's an example I'm going to play from a company that did take advantage of all these platforms, and they took their content and they ported it over to different places. It's from Disney, and this was an experience in Fortnite for Star Wars. There's been The Mandalorian, of course, that has been done, very publicized with Unreal Engine for in-camera visual effects. And beyond that, there has been games, of course, done about Star Wars content at all sorts, AAA games. And also in movies, the engine has been used in Rogue One to do some final shots in the movie, and The Mandalorian. So this is an example of a content owner really taking advantage of the technology as it is, Unreal Engine, to do all kinds of different things. So that brings us to Unreal Engine in film and TV and broadcast. So it's been used now in more than 300 film and TV projects. And by that we mean projects that have an IMDb page, meaning projects that are aiming to make a profit out of their investment by either selling their content through tickets in movie theaters, or through cable TV or streaming, or any way that brings a revenue. So that does not include YouTube or projects that are done, school projects. All of these are very important, but here what we're focusing on is projects that have a professional output, and it's used in all kind of different ways. So we talk about virtual production a lot when we talk about Unreal Engine, and virtual production is really production augmented with real-time technology wherever it makes sense. And so this graph here, if you actually removed the Unreal Engine mention, you would have a pretty relatively typical production, like movies or TV shows that have some scale. They have all these steps to go through generally, from the original script to the final product. And so pre-production, production, and post. And Unreal Engine is adopted in every one of those boxes in different ways. You don't have to have a big LED wall to use Unreal Engine. You can derive a lot of value by using visualization, for instance, in your art department at the very beginning to build the virtual sets. Photoreal, you can use Unreal in Previs, and you can do StunViz, all kind of visualization. And once you do all that and you've created your assets, your virtual elements inside Unreal, then it's an easy step to go, if the project if it makes sense, to set up a wall and to bring Unreal in front of it, or in the equation, to do in-camera visual effects, which is the part that goes to production. And it is used also in post and in some editorial as well to create projects. So there is a place for Unreal everywhere. In animation, visual effects, in broadcast, live entertainment, and on set in what we call in-camera visual effects. So the resources to learn about this. So the uevirtualproduction.com is the place where you can find all the information, a lot more details about what I'm talking about, if you want to find out more about in-camera visual effects and the use of Unreal Engine in those situations. This is a demo that we did at the last SIGGRAPH conference that was in person in 2019, and that was just before The Mandalorian came out. The Mandalorian itself, we talked a lot about it. I'm not going to go into too many details other than show this sort of iconic scene of The Mandalorian on the virtual set, where you see the motion capture cameras that are at the top between the wall and the ceiling that are capturing the camera. You see a gaffer coming in and working on the lighting, and of course Baby Yoda standing by. Baby Yoda is a real puppet, not in Unreal. But there was also the Westworld show that used Unreal Engine for doing virtual production. And in their case, they shot with film, which is of interest to some. So this is a film camera there. And they wanted to continue with their standard workflow using film throughout this particular TV show. And the test was successful. What you see in the background there is the City of Innovation that is in Spain, where they shot part of an episode. But they then wanted to do pickups, and they went to digitize the City of Innovation, and they brought it back on the wall in LA. And we're going to look at that briefly. So that's the shot from the TV show. These are the filmmakers who are talking about their prior experience with walls and how they came to use to digitize the City of Innovation. And we'll see in a second. Jonathan Nolan here. I'll skip that part. These are photos on the sets, and this is the real city where they had shot previously many parts of a certain episode. Of course, it's very expensive to shut down the City of Innovation, and while they were there, they digitized it in case they would have to do this, do pickup shot on a video wall. Yes. We compiled shortly after that a survey that we did of video of in-camera visual effects stage that showed up throughout the world. And this compilation, you can see the flag up at the upper right corner that shows us the name of the companies and the country they're in. This was shortly after the Mandalorian started publicizing what they did. And at that time, it was amazing to see how production companies throughout the world, looking at the information we had on our specialized website, just picked up the information and started doing work, building stages and shooting a lot of short-form content, lots of music videos, lots of commercials, some short movies, experimenting, coming up and down. In these early days, it was very difficult to keep track, actually, of all the in-camera visual effects stage that were coming out, because they were up one day and down a month later. And the people who were doing that were learning. They were then setting up another one, better one, and a lot of learning came from the community itself. That learned. It goes on and on. So in the interest of time, because we started late, I'll skip it. The full video is on our website. And then on the production design side, the art directors and production designer making sets or creating creatures like the Demogorgon here from the Netflix TV show Stranger Things started also working with Unreal. So let's have a look at this. So here's our friend, the Demogorgon. He was created before in traditional visual effects. This was a test that was done after the fact to see if it could be brought in the engine. As you can see, it's fully interactive. And the quality of the rendering here is it's Aaron Sims who did this work from Aaron Sims Creative. And he wanted to see how far he could go into the realism of that particular creature. So you can see details, including the skin translucency and a lot of work that was done there, all interactively in Unreal by Aaron Sims. So then we did a number of projects that are there for learning. So we brought together a team of filmmakers that had worked, the Russo brothers and their team that worked on the Avenger movie. And we gave them the tool set and supervised, and we helped them do a number of, it's a short, but really it's a number of scenes that we then released to the public along with all the data so that you can learn how to do these kind of things. Here's the overview of the short itself. It's based on content that was on the Epic Game Store that was done by someone in Australia, Memories of Australia, and that content was taken and modified for first doing car shots. So in-camera visual effects is very it's very suited to do car shots in the old-fashioned way, and that's an example of it. And obviously the benefit here is that when you do this on set, you have all the reflections and the lighting that goes and light your actors. We also introduced something that was new at the time, 8 months ago, the ability to have 2 cameras at the same time on the set. And since then, those features have evolved a lot, whereas the frustum of those 2 cameras that are rendered at a higher resolution. So the frustum is the area that the camera sees, this square that you see moving. It's moving because the camera is looking at different places. And that square is rendered at much higher resolution than the rest of the stage. The rest of the stage is rendered so that there is reflection and lighting from the rest of it. And then when the 2 frustum of the 2 different camera cross each other, then there is a priority. Camera number 1 has priority over camera number 2. And there's other developments that are going in that direction to make in-camera visual effects better. So the camera frustum, if you go to the view stage that is over here on the floor, you will see that it's become sort of a signature for in-camera visual effects. This place where the camera is looking, being at a higher resolution and essentially as close to final as you can have it in that particular area, while the rest of it is at a lower resolution, is a signature moment of in-camera visual effects. Other advantage of using ICVFX is the ability to change the lighting on the fly. So here the lighting is changing by way of changing the sky that is lighting the scene. And it can be anything from any time of day, essentially, and these changes can be done really on the fly itself. This morning, earlier, I was in a presentation with the cinematographer for the TV show Snowfall, and he was talking about how, as he started to use in-camera visual effects for car shots and airplane shots, with having a background beyond the window, he started to realize that he could change the time of day, that he could change the light, make experiment, and the wall is really, in that capacity, a lighting tool that is another tool in the toolbox of the cinematographer. You can also have what's shown here is it's not really an active flashlight here, it's just a tube that is being tracked, but it can be used as a flashlight to light the virtual set. So there's all kinds of interaction. We're just at the beginning of understanding the interaction we can have between the real and the virtual. So I want to talk about learning resources. There's a lot of scenes. If you get into Unreal Engine, and you can get into Unreal Engine, you can download it from the Epic Games website. It is free, doesn't cost anything. You can start using it on a laptop like this one here, and start downloading scenes. There's a lot of scenes already made, like the one I just showed about the test. These scenes are all available. And you have startup scenes when you're doing a real production to help you start from a place where you have all your Macbeth charts and all the things you need to do to calibrate and characterize your set. We have a huge library, more than 160 hours of learning material on our website that goes into various parts of Unreal Engine, including in-camera visual effects. It's at Unreal Engine/online learning. And we have field guides. We have 2 field guides for virtual production, Volume 1, Volume 2, that are a compendium of interviews with people who have done in-camera visual effects and virtual production. And more of them are on website uevirtualproduction.com. Now, moving from that, I want to talk more than about the past. So I want to show you some more recent example of in-camera visual effects that I've used on Unreal Engine. So this is a view of a set. There is probably 24 very large sets in operation at the moment on the planet. There's more than 300 in-camera visual effects set that we're tracking at any moment in time of various size, from small to medium to large. In that category here, this is something that was published by Pixomondo, who have many virtual production stage. They went into this in a big way. And that one in Toronto is for Star Trek Discovery Season 4 that just started a few months ago. And virtual production was incorporated there for the first time. This is a behind the scene of one of the shots for that particular TV show, where you have a combination of the wall itself, but also a lot of traditional quote-unquote lighting equipment that will help to tell the story and light the actors and what's the live elements that are on the set. So in that way, every in-camera visual effects set is different depending on the need of the show. And there is flexibility for the cinematographers to mix and match that new technology with what they know and how they do work. And the same is true for the gaffers and production designer early on. It's an additional tool to their toolbox. This one here is another big stage. It's called Dark Bay at Studio de Babelsberg in Germany for a upcoming mystery show called 1899. They've released that also publicly. The Dark Bay has a unique feature. This is a time lapse of the build of this particular stage. You will notice that this circle, so there's a huge turntable at the center of the stage that was built first before they assembled the video wall all around and on top of it. And with that turntable, they're able to rotate the entire set to change the camera angle. So in camera visual effects, you can rotate the virtual set anytime you want. In that particular set, you can also rotate the real set. So imagine the combination, and you can move the camera. So you can do anything you want, essentially. Also, Ari, our good partner Ari, has a number of stages in operation. This one is from Uxbridge in London. It's one of their largest, and they're offering services there for the filmmakers who want to use in-camera visual effects. That's another view of it. And in terms of what's new, I want to say a few words about Unreal Engine 5. So that's the new version of Unreal Engine. Most of the examples you've seen have been done with Unreal Engine 4. It had a lot of tools that were developed specifically for virtual production. Unreal Engine 5 brings a big change into the creation of real-time content through a number of features. There is, and the main one are the two top one there. Nanite is an engine for virtualized geometry, and what that means is that you can get assets inside Unreal Engine at a much higher level of geometry that you were able to do before. Essentially, visual effects class assets, or the kind of assets that took a long time to render up to now, you can now bring them in Unreal Engine through Nanite, and they will work in real time. That combined with Lumen, which is a global illumination real-time system, fully dynamic, meaning interactive, makes the light react instantly and the scene change anytime that you are doing any lighting change. And a number of other features are coming in the tail of that on the audio side, on the texturing side, and there's a long list that is also, you can check on our website. This video here illustrates those features. So this is from the live Matrix experience that was released at the same time than the last Matrix movie. So there is a city, and with cars and virtual humans populating it. You're seeing it here. You see lumens in action with the ability to change the time of day, and Nanite is what allows this entire city to be in the engine. Prior to Nanite, you could only deal with parts of a city as you were going through, and there is a visualization mode for Nanite that shows you how it deals with geometry, automatically. It was the case in the past that artists had to get involved into doing level of details, and there was a lot of preparation work to get high resolution assets into the game. Now that process has been greatly reduced, and would allow artists and studios to create much bigger interactive world. So more of that at unrealengine.com/UE5. And just to show you that this is not all recorded video, because we could have rendered this at many hours a frame, we're going to attempt to do something interactive here with the this game machine that you see on the side there, PlayStation 5. All right. I'm going to try to look at what I'm doing. So this, if you have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, you can go into the respective store, the Sony store or the Xbox store, and you can download the Matrix Awaken Unreal Engine experience. It's free, and it's like one of the games you can download. And you have 3 modes. The first one, we don't have audio here, but let's see, we're short on time, so you can go in the chase mode, in which case you will see Keanu Reeves welcoming you. And this is a short video we made where we have a Keanu Reeves, both the real one talking to the camera and a meta-human Keanu Reeves that we created. And so you go see that clip, and you can try to find out which one is which one, the real one and the virtual digital human. Because we don't have audio, it's less interesting to look at that. So instead, we're going to go into the I'll have to get closer to the PlayStation. Hold on. Closer. I'll get back over here. So we're now in the city. All right. We have our lady here. Her name is Io. We're going to go into flying mode. There's a bit of a delay here between the content and the controller. You'll forgive me in the flying. So this is generated live at 60 frames a second. I'm going to try to find a comfortable spot to look at things. All right, so here we see the city, and we see the meta-humans, we see the cars, and I'm going to go into some modes that demonstrates the some of the features we've been talking about. All right, here's our instructions, and there is a mode here that is the visualization mode. Not that one. This one. There we go. So now what we did is we turn every car and every human into a light cube. So every one of those cubes is emitting light. And you can see how every one of those cubes generate its own reflection in the watery parts, how they light the environment that they work into. This is real-time global illumination. So global illumination is a process that used to take hours and hours a frame to do. And the engineers at Epic found a way to bring it down to 1/60th of a second. So we're going to stay in that mode for a little bit and fly up if we can. And that's the city. And you can explore. I won't bore you with details. But that city is live. Every window has a room behind it. Every parking lot and structure has live cars that you can drive if you want to throughout the city. It's a live environment. And for us in film and TV, the question is, once you have an environment like this that is live, and that you go shoot into, you can go shoot your movies. What could you do? That's the question for all the creators in the room. So this is Unreal Engine 5, the latest tool that will help filmmakers do virtual production. I thank you for taking time for this presentation. I guess we can do perhaps questions if we have time for a few questions. Yeah, thank you. That's okay if there's no question. It means you understood everything. You can do virtual production now. All right, thank you.